This is an answer key for the exam questions 9 through 20. So we'll start with problem number 9. Negative 5/7 times 3/4 is going to have a negative answer. So we will eliminate these two. Negative 5/7 times 3/4. We can multiply numerator times numerator. We get 15. Denominator times denominator is 28. And we know it's negative. So negative 15/28. If you want to do a similar problem, do negative 3/4 times 2/3. And then you could bring this up. Any of these similar problems you can bring up. I'm not going to do the answer, but you can write them into your booklet and then check the answer with me. Problem number 10. 5.4 subtract 10.8. I'm going to change this to an equivalent addition problem, 5.4 plus a negative 10.8. So I'm going to find the difference between these two because the signs are different. So 10.8 minus 5.4. Line up the decimal points. 8 minus 4 is 4. 10 minus 5 is 5. And it's more negative. So the answer is negative. So that's D. If you want to do a similar problem, do 2.6 minus 4.8. And then check with me. Okay, now I've got to pull up. We're going to close this one out. And we'll pull up questions 11 through 20. Let's zoom in here a little bit. We'll zoom out just a little bit. There we go. This is a negative, subtract a negative. I'm going to find an equivalent problem where we're going to add the opposite. The opposite of negative 4.94 is 4.94. These have different signs, so we're going to find the difference. We'll put the larger one on top and subtract the smaller one and get 5 minus 4 is 1, 9 minus 9 is 0, 4 minus 4 is 0. There's more negative than there is positive, so the answer is negative. So that's negative 0.01. A similar problem would be negative 5.06 minus a negative 5.05. Or, no, we'll say 7. So we stick with, nope, we will say 5. We'll keep it with that. So we have a negative answer. Okay, moving down to problem number 12. This is 3.819 plus the opposite of this, which is 5.811. So this is just adding them up. So we add the decimal, or line the decimal points up. And 9.630, this 0 isn't adding anything to the number since it's not holding a place value out here. So we could just drop it, erase it, and so our answer is 9.63. Problem number 13. We have -4/5, and we're going to add the opposite of this. The opposite of that is 2/11. We need to find a common denominator, and we're just going to multiply these together since they have no common factors. So it's going to be -4/5 times 11 times 11, both numerator and denominator. That's going to be a -44/55 and 2/11 times 5 times 5 is equal to 10/55. So plus 10/55. We can put this all over one denominator, 55, and we're going to combine -44 with 10. So they're different signs, so we find the difference. The difference between 44 and 10 is 34. There's more negative, so it's -34/55. -34/55, which was A. Okay, problem number 14. We're going to change these to improper fractions. So -2 1/6 becomes, becomes 13/6, -13/6. And 7 2/3, 3 times 7 is 21, plus 2 is 23. This is 23/3. I can multiply each of these by 2 and get 46/6. So now we have -13/6 minus 46/6. Let's look at that as an addition problem. That's -13/6 plus a -46/6. So we're going to put those over one denominator. -13 plus -46. Combine those together, 46 and 13, and get 59. So we have a -59/6. 6 goes into 59 9 times with 5 left over. So we're looking for a -9 and 5/6. That's A. Okay, problem number 15. (35/12). We'll leave it as improper right now. Plus, and let's change this -3 1/10 to an improper fraction. That's going to be equal to 31/10. So it's a -31/10. So a common denominator could be 60. We'll multiply 12 times 5 and 10 times 6. So we'll do that right here. 35/12 times 5 times 5. 5 times 35 is 175. So we've got 175/60ths. And let's do next the 31/10. We're going to multiply that times 6 times 6. 6 times 31 is 186. So we've got 186/60. We can put it all over one denominator, and we've got 175 positives combined with 186 negatives. So we find the difference. 186 minus 175 is 11/60. So there's more negatives, so it's negative 11/60. Okay, let's look at number 16. Number 16. One hint for this one is to write the 3 in the numerator, or the negative in the numerator. Plus 1/5. Let's write that, since they have the same denominator, let's just write the numerators together. Negative 3 plus 1. We find the difference, which is 2. There's more negatives, so it should be negative 2/5. D. Problem number 17. We have some negative, and we have more negatives, so we're going to just combine these together. So 2.3 and 0.87. So add those together, and we get 3.17. And it's negative because it's negative plus negative is even more negative. So that answer was C. Problem number 18. We're going to combine a positive and a negative, so we have to find the difference. So the difference between 10 and 4/10 and 1 and 135 thousandths. I'm going to make this bigger. So let's do this. Let's make it bigger. So 10 and 4/10 minus 1. And the reason I made it bigger is I want to make sure we're seeing all the place values. So we put zeros in here. We cannot take 5 from 0. We have to borrow across. That becomes 10. I'm going to borrow across or rename. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 3 is 6. 3 minus 1 is 2. We bring down this decimal, and then 10 minus 1 is 9. We have more positive, so it's a positive 9.265. Let's go up here to problem number 19, and we'll zoom in even further. And it says the table shows 4 bank account transactions for Mike's account. Find the change in Mike's account balance. So here's what he did. He added $85 right there. Deposit means add. And then he withdrew, and so they show a negative with the withdrawal. So we'll subtract 40. And so he was at, if he did this in order, he was at $45. And then he bought movie tickets. So if he bought movie tickets, then we would do this, but we'd have to go into the negative, so we'd have to find the difference. 65 minus 45 is 20, and so we know that is negative 20. But then he added in 65, so again we find the difference, and that difference is 45, so he is in the above plus 45. So the answer is D on that one. So this one was 45. That's one way you can do that one. And the last problem, let's zoom out just a little bit. So negative 1.3 is the same as negative 1.3. I'm going to make it bigger. negative 1.3 is the same as negative 1.30. And if we combine that to negative 1.39, then those are the same, those digits are the same, but this digit is bigger. So that's a bigger number, but it's in the negative, so it actually goes farther away from 0, so this one is smaller, so it goes this direction. So the answer was B on this one because it's in the negative. If we had a number line, it would look like this. 0, 1, and negative 1.3 might be here, and negative 1.39 might be here, farther away from 0. So it's a smaller number. Remember, numbers get smaller as they go that direction. And then 3/5 is the same as 0.6. So these are equal to each other. And that is the answer key for problems 9 through 20.